Hello and welcome to the Big Show. Dim lights and stiff drinks. The dive bars of Seattle. We're interested in those watering holes, roadhouses, and taverns that have a long history and an interesting backstory. But this is no conceptual exercise. We're not in Brad's garage. No? Where are we?
Where are we? Yeah, that's a good question. No, we are live on location is where we are.
We're
Damn
like
straight.
field reporters. We're on location, doing this live, putting down a bunch of drinks and making some bad decisions. Lead to
So
future
you don't
regrets.
have to.
Because that's what you're supposed to do. So the place we're at this week is great. We are at the Shanty Tavern in Lake City.
That's right.
Historic Lake City.
Historic Lake City. This place has been here since 1937. In fact, tonight, the owner, John Spaccarotelli,
He's going to be joining us.
Yeah.
is going to be joining
special
us.
guest.
And his daughter,
Stick
Dana's
around
here
later
also.
in the episode.
And we got the place to ourselves, too, which is really cool. So this place has been closed for a while because of COVID, but they were kind enough to open it up to us and welcome us in. So this is kind of like our Blue Moon episode where we have the place to ourselves. And it's really cool just being in here.
So yeah, we're here. Let's go around the horn and introduce everybody. I'm Sweet Lou, as always. This is a Bob Trombley production. Bob
Hey,
putting
now.
two and two together, making the whole thing go.
How are we doing, everybody?
Bob, you ever been to the Shanty?
No, driven by it plenty of times. First time inside, so glad to be here.
Yeah, have we all driven by here 100 times?
Hundreds of times, yeah.
Hundreds. Yep.
If we haven't come in. Jeremy's here.
Hey.
Been here?
You know, I'm with Bob's, like, driven by a bajillion times, but the location right on Lake City Way, it's, like, perfect for that, right? Lake City Way is just chock full of places that you can say, yeah, I've driven by that place 1,000 times, but never been in, right? But I have been, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, though, I have pulled in to the parking lot when they were closed and peered, like, spookily into the windows like a total peeping Tom, right? Because it's like, tavern, I'm all down with taverns, but I was like, oh, shit, they're closed. But I was like, peeking in the windows going, well, what's this place all about? Got to come back here later or whatever. And, months and months and years later, here we are.
Here we are.
Nice. And as always, we got to say hi to the house band, Satan's Pilgrims. Thank you for the music. Satan's going to be playing a little something later on in the episode. And to my right, we got resident historian, Brad the Stash Panda.
Hello,
Brad,
everybody.
First time?
I have been here before. It's been a minute. It's been a while since I've been here, but I have been here before.
Were you boot scooting in the corner there?
Yeah, I wasn't here for a music show. I was just here having a beer. Yeah, so I haven't seen any music here.
Yeah, this is one of those when I first moved here in 95 and was still had my small town brain on. When I came down the hill, I was like, oh, that looks like a tough bar.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not a tough bar. It's a Seattle bar. We just met John and Dana, and it's...
Yeah, tough by Seattle standards is a little different.
Yeah,
a
it
little
always
different.
looked to me like a place I'd go in.
Like one time
I
it
wanna
had
get
a
my
motorcycle
ass
in the
kicked real
parking
quick.
lot.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm not going in there.
Yeah, so Brad's going to tell us about the history of the place, and we'll find out whether or not it is a place that you would go and get your ass kicked.
We are here, as Lou said, at the very historic Shanty Tavern in Lake City Way. The Shanty is popularly known as the last roadhouse in Seattle. It was, in fact, part of an entire circuit of roadhouses that once existed along the same stretch of road, which over time, depending what area you're in, has been known by a variety of names. It started out as Victory Way, which then became incorporated into the Bothell Highway project in the early 1920s. Today, depending where you're at, the roadway is now known as either State Route 522, Bothell Way, or Lake City Way. And like a Highway 99/Aurora, it carries a certain seedy reputation with it. Now, as far as roadhouses go, and you guys all are aware of this.
Wait, stop, Professor. Tell us what a roadhouse is.
So I'm co-authoring a book about the Seattle area roadhouses that will be published later this year. So the way we split up the book was that my co-author, Peter Blecka, covered the roadhouses along this Bothell Highway stretch that we're on now. And for my part, I covered all the roadhouses along Highway 99. Now, the Highway 99 roadhouses were the sketchiest of the sketchy and were known for their gambling, prostitution, and hard drinking.
Or the most awesome of the awesomest.
Good times.
Yeah, I guess it's subjective, or I guess it was subjective. By contrast, as Pete covers in the book, many of the Bothell Highway roadhouses were more down home and didn't quite have the same level of vice as was seen on Highway 99. They were where people went to enjoy a down-home chicken dinner, then enjoy some hooch, and dance to some lively music. So for that reason, the Bothell Way roadhouses were more similar to the honky-tonks and juke joints of the South. That was their vibe. And when you look at the shanty's history, you can definitely tell it's a byproduct of that local roadhouse history. The original building for the shanty was built in 1932 and was located about 5 miles north of here on what is now Bothell Way. It first opened as a beer parlor known as Mac's Shanty in 1937. It was owned by the McLeod family. First, Doris McLeod, then it fell under the ownership of her son, Bill. Throughout the 1930s, the business shifted addresses a few times until 1948, when it finally landed in its current location here on Lake City Way, where we're at tonight.
So, do they like helicopter the building from one pad to another, or what?
No. They didn't actually move the building themselves. They just moved the business.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And I think, have we been to taverns before where they did that, where they were originally in one location, then they just moved, but they kept the name?
I know Jules Mays is like that right now. Right?
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Lower Queen Anne. We haven't been there yet.
I don't think we've been to one yet, but this
Shorty's.
one was like that. Shorty's, that's a good
It's
example.
only a block, but
Yeah, moved. So this was one of those. So it just moved addresses, but it kept the name until it finally landed here. Despite the address changes, it continued to operate as Mac's Shanty under the ownership of Bill McLeod until 1961, when it was purchased by its current owner, John Spaccarotelli, who we're going to be speaking to here in a moment. John was a Korean War veteran. When he purchased the place, he changed the name from Mac's Shanty to its current name, The Shanty. As far as everyone knows, it has always been a live music venue where people could drink, shoot pool, play darts, and dance to music. And John has certainly kept that important musical element intact since taking over ownership over 50 years ago. In fact, for several years, the Shanty has hosted thousands of concerts, as well as KCMU's annual Shake the Shack Rockabilly Car Show. One of the most remarkable things about the Shanty, though, is that it has a pretty clean record. There have been no police raids, they have not ever had their liquor license revoked, as far as I know, and there have been no scandalous crime stories.
Shh!
this
Don't
is
let that
This is
get
the
out,
bar
man.
I
You're gonna
thought
ruin the
was-
reputation of this
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Come on.
John's
it's
probably
the
going to be
opposite
86.
of a place I thought I could get my ass kicked. Like, where were we last week? At Targis?
Yeah.
Oh, watch out, Target.
Definitely get your ass kicked there. And
Yeah.
that's the top of Queen Anne.
Might not walk home.
Yeah.
That's Seattle for you.
You never can tell.
You never can tell it's true. So from what I can see, John has done a pretty good job staying out of any trouble and keeping his nose clean, which is quite a feat when you consider the seedy history of this area. Even more remarkable is the amount of time that John has owned this place. As far as I know, he may very well be the oldest tavern owner in the entire state.
Nice.
Above all, though, is the commendable job that John has done in keeping the cultural, historical, and musical roots of this place alive and kicking through so many decades of change. And I believe it is this level of stewardship that will be the Shanty's true and lasting legacy. And with that, I'd like to introduce the man himself. John, welcome to our podcast, and thank you so much for hosting us. So, John, you've owned this place since 1961. That's amazing.
Yes.
You know, I go pretty deep in my research when I'm researching these places, and most taverns have some kind of history where they've gotten their liquor license revoked or police raids or something. Not you, though, not that I've seen. Like, you played it pretty straight and kept your nose clean, so...
At least in the official record.
At least in the official record, is everything...
Well, the only times I ever had any problem when somebody else sold some beer and maybe they got caught drinking some beer somewhere and they said, oh, it's at the Shanty.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So they're trying to throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
You never
yeah.
know because they didn't want to know the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Didn't want to tell them where it really was. Maybe it was a grocery store.
Right.
You know, there was small grocery stores around here.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Why do you think they were picking the Shanty? Of all the places.
Well, you don't pick your local grocery store the little tiny one in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
give it up.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
you don't get your.
You just think of the first bar that comes to your name, and you're like, oh,
Pick
yeah, it was the
pick
Shanty.
on the Shanty? Hell no.
Yeah.
Man, that's just not right. That's just not
No,
right.
it's not right at all.
Yeah. Or else they probably were refused here, like this kid one time, and.
Oh, he
kicked
got a
him
little
out.
little
Said,
annoyed about it.
No, I'm not going to sell you any beer. So maybe that was the time.
Yeah, possibly. Any crazy stuff happened here over the years? Any memorable stories or,
Unruly patrons?
Yeah.
One time there was a fight outside, and all of a sudden I heard a shot,
Oh, jeez.
and this.
Was it Lou? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was this fellow I found out. He had a pistol and he shot it into the ground, which they told me, which he told me, that stopped the fight.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's the craziest thing that you've had happen is a fight out in the parking lot?
That's about the only thing that I can...
That's
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
can't think of any
Yeah.
craziness. I mean,
No, not
little,
since you were kind of got
right, little
involved a little bit.
scuffles.
Yeah.
Meaning
Yeah.
that, people get very spirited in their
Sure.
conversations.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But
Yeah, the only other time that I had a problem was there was a couple customers came in. Actually, there were 3 of them that came in, and a couple of my customers were sitting actually over this area here, and they were sitting over there. And all of a sudden, a fight started. Well, the 3 of them started fighting the 2, and I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm going to get that 3rd guy out of the way. So I moved over. I was an ex-military policeman,
Ah,
And
okay.
I had martial arts studies, so I went over there, and he'd take a couple of swings, and I grabbed him, we'll come along, threw him against the jukebox,
Oh,
and put my foot in his throat, and told him, I said,
damn.
if you get up, I'll be fine. But if you get up and you take any more swings at me, and I'm going to put you down. And he hollered, okay. Anyway, I said, all right, let's go. Up he went, and I kicked the other 2 guys out. So that was...
You just nipped it right in the bud.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't have to hurt anybody. Well, he was he was hurt by his own way of saying that he's
Yeah.
going to kick my butt, but...
So you are proprietor, bartender, and
Bouncer.
all in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in one. Yep. I'm going to turn your question on its head for a second and say, I'm looking over at the stage and the dance floor, and you surely have had a couple of musical guests that were unruly.
Oh, you mean like the band that tears up the joint? And well, they don't do that.
No?
You mean that'd be more
Come on.
like if you ever had a punk band and the crowd wanted to tear up the place. Has that ever happened?
That wasn't really the
The
vibe
only
here.
time I ever had a little problem is one that was harassing one of my customers.
The band was harassing a customer.
No. It was another customer harassing one of my other customers. And he complained to me, and I was doing fine until I walked past with him, and he poured some beer on my shoulder.
Oh, oops. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I had some ashtrays in my hand, so I put them on the bar, turned over, grabbed him, and gave him a hip roll and threw him on the floor.
Oh.
And that was the end of
Yeah,
that.
I'm sorry.
In
What did you
those
say,
days-
sir?
Yeah, in those days, or any days, not now, of course, but when I was younger, I still studied a little bit of martial arts. And so if somebody said anything, I would say, if you want to challenge me, I'll walk on the other side of the bar and I'll take your challenge. And that's where it usually ended.
Is that what the dance floor is for? Settling disputes. Yeah, it's like right here.
No,
'Cause I can see it's like a dojo. It really is.
That would be a great ring.
Yeah, it really
People
is.
have gotten more sophisticated, though. When was the last time someone had to be kicked out? Dana,
Oh,
you
I'm
guys?
thinking in the last few years there's had to been somebody that was asked to
I
leave.
know. We had to kick one out here. Was it
Is that like
last year?
an over?
Last year.
Yes,
That's it.
yes.
We had a stand over there selling things.
One of the band's
Oh.
merchandise.
Merchandise. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
At Halloween time.
CDs and
he
T-shirts
took
and
up
stuff?
This skeleton, and because the music was being played, and he was dancing on the floor and had some sales of things also. Oh God, the band member got pissed. Anyway, he told me, and then I walked over to the customer and I said, "This is not acceptable." So anyway,
So you threw him in the jukebox, put your foot in his throat.
Just like
Do
that.
not fuck with the merch. Yeah.
No.
Between my daughter and I, we escorted him out towards the front door, and he walked out peacefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
he hasn't been since.
Yeah, but this is true. Yeah. But mostly the bands are really, really nice.
I would imagine
Yeah?
so, yeah.
There's, I
Yeah.
think, one band that I can think of that's given us a little bit of trouble. We're more the sound guy, which is just really not cool. But
Okay.
I'm just saying that.
Okay.
You know, if people
Those certain guys.
abuse our equipment, I remember there was one band that was a little bit abusive to our equipment, and that was the last time they were invited back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, you
Banned
know-
for life. All right.
Overall, even when I had bands, probably 30 years ago, before I started every Friday, I'd get a band in, and there'd be no problem. You know? They'd come through the door. In those days, there was no ASCAP
Yeah,
or
right.
CSAC.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we didn't
Welcome.
have to
Come on
make-
in.
Yeah, and come on and play a Friday or Saturday night, and it would draw.
Yeah.
You know.
Did it get a little uncomfortably crowded in here? Little hot, a little sweaty, little too much elbowing?
No, not really, because I could usually handle, in those days when I was younger, I could handle 50 people by
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
and wash glasses too. Wow. But it's gotten to a point now that if it gets too close to 50, and my daughter is, Dana is by, she'll
Jumping.
help.
That's a
me.
lot of glasses to
Yeah.
wash.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot
Or-
of. That's
Hey, you got a
that's
line
lot
at the
of people to take
bar.
care of.
Another beer, another
Yeah,
beer.
it gets a
Oh,
little
I've had
stressful.
customers, when I've had 65 people, when I had a party in here, and hey, I'll wash glasses for you. Well, I'm kind of sticky about my glasses.
Are you going to do a half-assed job, or are you going to do a good job?
You're gonna wash the inside and the outside both, the rim.
I'm seeing a little bit of lipstick on this
Yeah,
rim
yeah.
here.
Well, you have to have a glass like you're drinking out of right now. It has to be beer clean.
Yeah.
If that's not beer clean, you won't get that little bit of a head, that's nicely on the beer, or else the beer will change on you. So,
Yeah.
and the health department, they come and
They
check.
tend to frown upon that, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, they'll check.
You take this shit seriously. I appreciate that.
I do too.
appreciate that.
Now going back to the music, so are you the guy that kind of books the bands, and what do you look
No, we
for
were
in
just
music?
talking
Like, how does that work?
I have a customer, I guess, kind of a customer. His name is John, and he is an ex-DJ, somewhat in the county or
Up in Everett.
in Everett. And anyway, he knows many of the bands. And
Okay.
Of course, they follow through and they give information to John. And, well, we'll play up in the Shanty or any other place, basically, that
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
for 2 or 3 weeks later from now or 6 weeks from now.
So he's your booker. He
Yeah, we
okay.
call him the booker.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, he's down at.
Yeah, the booker.
Okay.
We were just
So he
talking.
also DJs. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Jump in there.
He also DJs down there now at Space 101. 101? No.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Down
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
at Sound Point. Yeah, so he has a new show down there. And and I did the booking before John. And he's just really great. He's done wonderful.
Yeah.
He really enjoys music also.
Okay. Now,
Likes people.
before he was around, though, were you the one booking bands, or were
I
you?
was.
Well,
And then
she
before
was-
him,
Okay.
He was.
Okay.
I was, but Ray was my number one band that would play in here, and he also knew many people.
Okay.
So,
Oh, so
then-
that's kind of a. maybe I'm
came
gonna
organic,
I'm gonna
huh?
jump in here. So, okay,
Yeah,
he
please
was
do.
the original booker. Okay, then some years go by.
We
this
need
is
some
kind
more
of
help.
And a funny little story is that, so then the music wasn't happening as much.
Mm-hmm.
So he had more sports teams. My father sponsored basketball, baseball,
Softball teams and
Pool.
stuff. Yeah.
pool, dart. Anyway, so
Okay.
it was
Tournaments.
Had a lot. Yes, had a lot
Nice,
more
nice.
sports. Okay, so Leon Berman, formerly of Shake the Shack.
The
Yes.
proctologist.
Oh,
of
yeah.
rock.
Yes,
You
yes,
guys
yes,
know
yes.
him?
We're all
Okay.
fans of that show.
Oh,
for sure.
Okay,
yeah.
and do
Oh,
you know
yeah.
Ken Jacobson, the former state senator from this district?
I'm familiar with the name.
So they were hanging out, I think, up at Sully's.
Okay.
Snow Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
And,
talking about Kenny?
yeah. So Leon was like, I need some place for the Shake the Shack car show.
Right.
And so Ken's
yeah.
like, hey, what about down at the Shanty? You know, they've got the parking lot, blah, blah, blah. So here comes the car show. And
What
his
year
front-
was this?
Oh,
A dozen years
Shake
ago.
the Shack ran
yeah.
forever.
I'd say
over
it
a
doesn't.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I mean,
At least a
it's-
dozen years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it started in the 90s, right? Shake the Shack?
Well,
or-
but the
When
car
I moved
show
to
didn't
town in
always.
'95, the show was on. I think it
Okay.
actually was one of the longest running
Like 25
radio
years,
programs
I
in
think.
the
Yeah.
country.
I think
Yeah.
he did it.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I definitely miss that show, but
Yeah,
yeah.
we had 3 or 4 Shake the
Oh yeah,
Shacks here.
yeah. See, we still have one poster right there.
Yeah.
One of the years.
Oh, the
small
Shake
one.
the Shack
Yeah.
Rockabilly Ball.
Right. It had the ball, and then they also would on one night they had surf, and then it was the ball and the car show. So it took different forms.
Sure.
Anyway, and so Leon's friend Ray was running sound for the car show. And then he was talking to my
He was-
father.
yeah.
And
Oh, okay,
then,
so
and
that's
then,
how-
and then
Gotcha.
that picked up again. And then
Yeah.
Ray wanted to move on, and so I took it over.
Yeah.
And then
And
I needed to
it
pass it
started
on.
working out.
And,
Yeah.
Whereas Ray, and then she would do.
Yeah.
and then I
set
did it,
up.
and then now
Between
it's
him
a
and
job.
her, then she talked to me, and I said, sure.
So there seems to be between everybody who's booked, John and Dana and Ray, there's a simpatico, there's a vibe, a theme that you can
Oh, for
tell.
sure.
So I'd
Yeah.
like to
Oh, for
sure.
read off some names of bands that have played here, and I think just the names of the bands tell you what kind of music they're playing. You got Ruby D and the Snakeholders, The Wayside, Petunia and the Vipers,
Right.
Honky-Tonk Sweethearts, the Disco Cowboys,
Yep.
the Perpetrators, the Moving Targets, and Criminal Code.
Yeah, nice.
One of my very,
The
very favorite,
Snohomish,
the Snohomians.
the Snohomish.
The homies.
Yeah,
The Homians.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of our,
They're now defunct.
yeah.
Too bad. I
That
love
happens.
their music.
Yeah.
They attract 50 people.
There's got to be a few of those over the years,
Oh,
right?
for
great,
sure.
Great bands,
It-
but no
Well,
longer
people
with us.
move away.
Sure.
You have kids, things like that happen.
Yeah.
But
life
I do have to
happens.
put a shout out for probably my favorite band, just because when I first started booking, they were always there to help me out. Philip and I, the Rain Arrows, just
The Rain Arrows.
The Rain Arrows,
Yeah.
Nice.
and they'll be coming back. They come
What
in.
did they play?
Country,
Nice.
rockabilly, yes.
Yeah.
John, what kind of music do you personally like yourself? What's
Country,
your,
rockabilly, boogie
Well,
woogie, rhythm and blues.
I was
surf.
raised in the 40s. you
John's
know.
a metal
so
guy.
big band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when none of you were alive.
That was definitely before my time. But I know in my research of roadhouses, which this definitely has roadhouse roots, that
Right.
was the predominant music with a lot of the
Yeah.
roadhouses.
It was,
yeah.
it was what, the first name before it was Bothell Way.
It was Victory Way.
Very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's kind of a confusing roadway because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
depending where you're at, it changes names and it's changed over the years.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you got Bothell Way, Lake City Way, and
Yeah.
it changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
State
it
Route
was,
522.
It was Bothell Way when I came in.
Yeah.
And then the Bram, he was a mayor, and of course he had a business before that in Lake City. So anyway, he went and said, "Well, why don't we name it Lake City Way? Because here it comes from Lake City Way from."
Bram gets credit for
Yeah.
naming it?
Yeah.
Lake City? Okay. We got him to blame.
So that's how I started. Oh, in the oh god, the one that was is old, if not older than the Shanty here,
Oh, the Jolly Roger?
Jolly Roger.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
looked up the Jolly
yeah.
Roger earlier, so
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
actually,
Jolly
because-
Roger.
yeah, you touched on it, Brad.
It was
Yeah.
owned by a Chinese person many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I took over the Shanty, it was owned by Bill and Nellie, I think was their names,
Mm-hmm.
and they only had bottles or cans of beer. And holy chick idea! I had my wife with me at one time, and
Yeah, I was reading about the Jolly Roger earlier. They were, like you talked about, Brad, when Prohibition hit, Lake City kind of boomed.
Yes.
Because it was far enough
Yep.
away from
Yep.
the city where
Yeah.
you could
Just outside the
have
limits, yep.
roadhouses and juke joints. And the Jolly Roger had like a watchtower set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
nothing
Oh, yeah.
developed, so they could
Yeah.
see for miles. And if the
if
cops were
they
coming,
would sound the alarm.
and they even had
Ding-a-ling-ling.
like tunnels that led them down
So they said.
the blocks.
I don't know.
Allegedly, because
That's
All right, but you
somewhat
never
in
actually
dispute.
saw them yourself, John, right?
well, she would not take me downstairs on the Jolly Roger.
Oh, yeah, you got to know somebody.
Well, when I was
What
out,
was that, like card games or?
Well, they had ladies down there,
okay.
little dorms. They told me.
little cribs, little
I heard
Yeah.
that there was a
yeah.
tunnel from Jolly Roger to a restaurant next across the street,
Yeah,
Buildings.
yeah.
Yeah.
and on
Which would have been originally the escape route for people to get out of the bar in Prohibition,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Probably.
but they were gambling down there and downstairs in the restaurant down below.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now the tunnels, it's funny because there's a lot of historians
The
out
ones
there
with the
that
Jolly Roger, you mean?
yeah, that will say nope. You know, there were no tunnels whatsoever. But
Yeah, I don't know
when
what
I
you're
was
talking
out
about.
promoting my book for Seattle Prohibition, I talked to a lot of old timers that would come to my readings. And they would come talk to me afterwards, and they would tell me stories about the tunnels that they personally visited. And I heard
really?
that from several
Oh.
people. So
Are you
I know
sure?
it's anecdotal. It's
Well, you're denying it too? What?
it's
yeah.
anecdotal. I take
Yeah.
I
But they,
understand that, but
but they'd have to.
I know.
Those tunnels would have to be underneath from there to the inn.
Yeah, yeah.
So that meant about 60 or 80 or 100 feet.
yeah.
So when they tore the road up to put in sewers and that, so weren't they there?
Well, I've heard that they were filled in. I don't know. Again, this is
See,
anecdotal, so I
Yeah,
don't
if
know
you're
how.
doing that, you're just
So
you
when
got
it
a job
burned-
to do,
when
and
it
you're like,
burned- yeah.
another bootlegger tunnel. We got to fill it in.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, okay,
Or
here-
you leave it there because
here's another
respect.
Yeah. Here's another story that because at the Jolly Roger, those little areas downstairs, they had little rooms
Yep,
for the ladies.
that's right.
Little
Okay.
rooms. Uh-huh.
Now, those ladies lived across the street. So, is a tunnel a road?
Oh, that's how they got to work.
You know,
So they weren't seen by the,
so they went back and
general
forth.
public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very convenient.
So they
I
they
think
went
there's
back
something
and
to it.
forth
Yeah.
to across the street.
Yeah.
Not to the inn, but it later became the University
Trailer Park.
Trader Park.
Interesting.
Was it the Trader Park then? I don't know.
Probably
But
not.
It was a Trader Park when I was here in '61. So, I mean, was there a tunnel, or was it by people walking so much that they frequented the same path, like it was a
Yeah,
tunnel?
that's an interesting
Yeah.
You know,
theory about
Tomato,
that.
tomato.
Yeah, yeah.
And
This
if there
would
wa-
also been a really good story if it turned out that the housing was the university campus sorority.
Well, now you're going down a whole different path there.
No.
Are you talking about my home university where I played football at?
He and I graduated from there too, so we're also alumni.
Yeah, we're
did
all
you
UW alumni.
did you play football at the UW?
Yes, I was a walk-on, but
Okay.
I was 26 years old when I started university.
Oh, right on.
Nice.
I
Right
was
on.
there after the Korean War, so
Okay.
I decided to get a better education, and I was there for a couple of years.
So what kind of
Fantastic.
tunnels were there under the University of Washington campus?
Well, let's talk about the tunnel that you have now that
you know.
goes between the bar and your neighbor. Who's to the
I
south
don't-
of us, John?
I don't frequent the place.
Well, and for the
What's it
listeners,
called?
it's
What was
a
it called?
gentleman's
Called
club.
Pandora's Box,
Yeah.
right?
Well, speaking of Lake City Way gentlemen clubs, it's a good segue into the Colacurcio brothers,
Oh, what about
the notorious
There's a
Colacurcio
book?
brothers.
There's that
There
book?
is Seattle Vice.
you know that about
Yeah.
the book
Yeah,
and how the investigation went FBI
yeah,
and closed them all up?
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, they got shut down. What I was more interested in is just hearing. So, did you
Wait,
must
are you
have
guys
known
talking
them?
about Seattle Mob?
So yeah, so for the listeners out there, Seattle's never really had like organized crime syndicates like what we see on the East Coast, and the kind of exception to that would probably be the Colacurcio brothers.
yeah, well, they were just a pain in the butt.
They were a pain in the butt. I guess it's debatable if you could consider them a mob unit or not. Grilled
They were
by,
nationals. They made
Robert
it nationals.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. what was your experience with them? It sounds like you knew them somewhat
I
indirectly,
only
maybe.
I knew George somewhat because he had my jukebox here.
That's great.
Back to the jukebox.
So there was no pushing of anything because I also had pinball machines by another company.
Yeah.
So,
Do you remember the company that?
So the Mafia had the pinball racket?
Well, yeah. So the pinball machines were gambling devices back then.
A Polish family,
okay.
a Jewish Polish family. His the father, he had a Lake Washington property, and probably you read about him being in the Lake Washington water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he was caught up in a pinball scandal in the early 60s.
Yes.
And I think, if I remember correctly, the details, he was maybe going to testify, and then he suspiciously ended up drowned on his
On his
Lake
own
Washington
property.
on his own property.
Yes.
He
It was very
rigged the
suspicious.
pinball machines. Yeah.
His
Balls right in the
son-
gutter.
His son did a lot of the collection here
Yeah.
of the pinball machines that I had, which is only 2. But he would not enumerate about his father. I met his father, I think, once or twice when he came in with him.
Yeah.
And they, so, hi and whatever.
What was his name? Sitchy?
Yes.
Yeah, Sitchy.
Yeah, such a.
Yeah.
So
it
has
wa-
that soiled your experience of that so much that we don't see any pinball machines now?
Well, weren't those the gambling
Well,
ones, though?
it was a toleration policy that was
Yeah.
throughout the town,
Yeah.
and the county, really. Both county, the sheriffs, undersheriffs, whatever they were, and the city of Seattle. Whoever was being paid by envelope or whatever.
yeah.
All it
Yeah.
takes one bad seed, and then nobody gets to play pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
for the listeners out there, so pinball machines were once gambling machines.
Yes. Oh,
And they
yeah.
were different because the original pinball machines did not have flippers. Rather, you would just pull the thing back, the
And-
ball would go on the play field,
you'd-
and where it landed, it landed. You
And
didn't have
what
any
you
control.
do, you'd have your hands on the machine
Might
and
jostle
kind
a
of
little
help
bit. Yeah,
guide
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
guide it too hard and it tilts.
Right,
Tilt,
that's where
yeah.
So
tilt
you
came
lost
from.
your you lost your nickels in Seattle or
Yeah.
dimes in the county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of that, organized crime sucked its tentacles into it,
Yeah.
and they became very controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it got controversial that they outlawed it.
yeah.
And
Is
I
that
lo-
why the Addams
I lost,
Family pinball machine is so hard? God damn it!
Yeah, About's got a machine that's really cool, and it's basically like it doesn't have flippers, but it's got buttons and it's lines. It's basically like a bingo card, and so
Yeah.
you pick the line.
It's probably an old
and then
gambling
it shoots
machine.
up and put the number,
Only if
and
you
you're
put
trying to
money
get.
in, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You put more nickels in, and the odds go up.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it goes up to 360 nickels.
It's just like video poker, where if you put in 10 nickels, you can make big money
Yeah.
versus if you just put in 1 or 2. So
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
the
yeah.
big difference was that they were once games of chance, now they're games of skill.
Yeah, with the flippers.
and you don't win any money,
And you don't win any money.
and they're no fun.
You always lose.
Yeah, guys that put with here it was nickels. So buy half a dozen rolls of nickels and try to win umpteen hundred games, but you
Yeah.
don't. At the end, you'll see a bunch of paper down
Oh,
below. You have to clean that up.
Now,
Well, speaking of which, I do not see any pull tabs behind the bar.
I did have pull tabs,
Yeah?
yes, at one time, but
Yep.
it got to a point where
They're a lot of work. It's
Makes
not
a
just
mess.
like
headache.
Makes a
yeah,
mess.
yeah.
you put the tabs up and you make money.
What
You
about
have to-
punch boards? Did you ever have punch
I
boards
had
back
punch
in the
boards
day?
too.
Oh,
Did you?
nice.
Oh yeah, those were easier.
Were they?
Oh yeah,
less
because
mess.
a person would say, "Well, I'll give them the punch board," and you punch out 25, and if they're a nickel, it'd be $1. It'd be $1.25, and then you pull them apart. Well, maybe he won, maybe he didn't, and maybe it was 80% he didn't.
Well, you've got you've got a unique perspective on this. Do you think gambling brings in a different kind of clientele to an establishment like this?
Well, the only
Maybe not.
polling Or you're talking about maybe pull tabs.
Yeah, the punch boards,
That-
the pull tabs. Yeah.
What pull tabs did is that it would bring the gambling essence of a person trying
Out?
to
Oh, so they might just be in there to drink, but now because the tabs are here,
Yeah.
see. You know,
going for it?
There was Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, of course, that was the place to go.
Yep.
Well, now you have a place where you can have a pull tab.
I can go to the shanty
So-
and get me
So,
gambling on.
there could- in the beginning, maybe the bar was, say, 10 people at the bar. Maybe there was 8 of them that wanted to get that $50 or $100 prize up there. So that's the glory of it. But the other fallout is that, you know, not everybody wins that $100 or $50.
You don't say.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, I just
Oh,
came
yeah.
in here for a beer, and now I'm leaving $100 poor.
Yeah.
So,
And my wife's going to be pissed off.
My wife's gonna be pissed.
so I only had.
Sounds like you don't miss the pull tabs there.
No, I don't,
No.
because I don't have
I
to
could
fool
see that.
around with the. Oh, I want 50 of them, John. So you know you have to pull out 50 out of,
You give them bowl.
out of a bowl. Yeah. So, and then somebody wins, and I want to sell a beer too, beer or wine. You know, and of course I like to talk to customers also. So you know you've got a dozen people at the bar, and this is how it flowed first of all, and then later on, you know, it fell back to, you know, maybe 20% of the bar people who were gambling.
Really? So
Yeah.
you saw, even when you were offering pull tabs, like a kind of a decline in the customers who are willing to, like, you know, grab a 10, 20, 30 pull
Yeah.
tabs.
Eventually,
Interesting.
Eventually, you know, it wasn't worth the
That's interesting.
going
Yeah.
up to and buying some more.
Yeah, you gotta go Olympia or something. You have to go to Olympia or something.
No, it was 2 miles away, and they have a person selling all kinds of pull tabs. They were licensed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
He had this wholesale place up here just off Aurora, the one that I dealt with. you
Lake
know.
City Way has, you know, cleaned up its act. It's gotten more gentrified.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it has.
It's a tax.
That's true.
It's a good tax
Yeah.
for the state.
Oh,
Well,
heck yeah.
you know, you got gambling now. You've got the cards.
Lotteries.
Lotteries.
Yep.
Yeah.
It hasn't though. Lake City has still kept its character. Like if you look downtown, I know there's some new apartment buildings and some new stuff, but it's still used
There's
car dealers,
Still a certain level of
Funky
sketchiness.
little-
It's like Highway 99.
businesses. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's Aurora on the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lake City Way is keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There are less car lots. I've been asked
Well,
to
isn't it all
sell.
now just
Been
Pierre?
replaced with pot shops.
Well, that's true. That too.
Yeah. That's the new
The
vice.
reason why I won't sell to a car dealer of some sort, I'm tired of seeing too many car dealers go out of business here.
Yeah.
You start up here at
Yeah.
20th and go all the way down the Lake City Way. It's 145th. There's a lot of them that, you know, several that are empty. And then, of course, you know, might be another person that, I can make a go of that spot. So they rent it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch hands and
Yeah.
Now that
go of it.
that leads me to another question I wanted to ask you. So, what about the future of the shanty? Have you thought about like what you want to see happen?
It's a Shanty
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Want
I
stay
would
in
like
the
to see
Shanty?
either
perpetuity?
an apartment or a building of some sort, you know, one that has probably a little bit of less rental to, you know, like maybe say 10%. If I won one of the lotteries, let's say $80 million, I'd build my own $20 million
Okay,
place here.
so you'd get like some condos on here with a little cool little pub on the ground level.
I would have probably nothing down here except some small businesses underneath, you know.
Please tell me you do keep a pub around here. Come on.
This is a shanty. You're not going to like sell
Ground
out.
floor retail is always a loser. That's what's paying the rent. Just
Yeah,
keep it the
we
shanty.
don't- we don't
The
need another-
lottery, we don't need to be concerned
We don't need a
about it.
nail
We're
salon.
not going anywhere.
We don't need a massage parlor.
That's
we
what
need
the
a
listeners
pub.
want to hear. You guys
We need
aren't
a
going anywhere.
pub.
No,
We
we're
need a
not going
tavern.
Yeah. No, have you guys had developers come in?
All the time.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
and-
yeah. Every once in
Yeah.
a while,
Yeah.
another person will call or
Yeah.
stop by or letter.
Yeah.
Most of it's by letter now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
we
COVID.
have.
Yeah.
So,
Sure. Yeah.
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 But you should be commended because so far, obviously, you've resisted those efforts and you've kept the shanty alive. So
I want something to
kudos-
do.
I vote for
And we're
keeping
better
it
for it.
Another 60 years
That's
because
right.
this place is awesome.
This is awesome, yeah.
Well, he does
So-
have grandchildren, so.
Yeah.
I have 5
Well,
grandchildren.
that's where I was kind of thinking. Keep it in the family. You got
Hell
Dana
yeah.
here. She's obviously
Oh, my
got a
son
good head on her
loves it.
shoulders.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's worked
Yeah.
along with his grandfather.
Yeah,
she
we
wouldn't
need-
want to
we
run
need
it.
another century.
And none of my other daughters would like to run it either.
No.
No, she might be
Well,
the
I
only
do.
one.
Yeah.
I can
there's
see
my
Dana
kid.
running
We'll
it.
continue
I just,
that discussion.
Yeah.
That's great.
I wouldn't want to have her under the gun because this property is worth a couple of bucks. It's high taxes. You know,
Yeah, the taxes got to be crazy.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I would rather sell it out and you know, in the long run, and you know, take my couple of bucks and
Sure.
maybe travel a little more, not
Okay,
much
but you
more.
haven't done that yet.
Maybe
You're not.
maybe go to the more states,
You do travel already.
Yeah?
and I go back to Italy again. And
Italy.
yeah,
Nice.
Of course, I have a
Family.
fairly large family back there.
A villa in Italy
nephews
that
and
you can
nieces.
go to.
No.
Yeah.
No mafia. You know, all the mafia is gone.
Sure, John, sure. No, but I mean, kudos to you for not selling out
Yeah.
and keeping this
Yeah,
place
this-
alive.
this
you know,
place
this is an institution.
Oh my gosh,
So.
yeah.
I like to see
We love
people coming in, having a good time, and I like music. Every once in a while, one of the ladies will ask me to dance, you know, which is nice.
Of course,
So,
yeah.
He is
and
a
of
good
course,
dancer.
I dance, well, maybe with one or two,
Yeah.
you know. And if the music is there,
You get into
then I
it.
like
That's
it.
why you bring the bands in.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
yeah.
right.
Okay. Now I get
Yes,
it. Now I get it.
I like the music. We have, like, some of the country music, you know, it's got a good swing to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Western swing.
Yeah,
That
Western,
kind of
yeah,
vibe. I love
yeah,
that.
right.
Coming
Christy
around the Playboys.
McWilson, your favorite. Christy McWilson, your favorite.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Christian.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
He loves Christy.
very good.
Okay.
Yeah. There's several other bands that
Oh, sure,
I can
sure,
dance
absolutely.
to, of course.
None of us have seen a live show here, but we want to change that this year. So hopefully this year, the four of us want to come here and catch a live
Absolutely.
show because this just looks like an incredible place to see some live music. So
It is fun. It is fun.
Well, hopefully that the COVID will not
Not rear its head again.
Yeah.
deter
Yeah.
because I can recall not too long ago when there was only 15 or 17 people that walked through the door,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that we're all
And
getting
of
itchy
course,
to get it back.
then other times, I've had 25 or 35 or maybe 45 or 50 walk through the door. Some people leave after the first band, not a lot, but it might be, 25, 30%, and then the second band comes on. But if we have one band that's good, we will not have.
Keeps them around.
Yeah.
It keeps
Sure.
them around, yes.
Yeah.
But it's just been slower to come back since the
For
start
sure.
of COVID.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just,
Yeah,
it is
COVID
like-
That's
has
just
hurt.
so we just
everywhere.
want everybody to
Yeah.
Yeah.
feel safe about
Taverns
coming
like
out.
this has
Yeah.
been hit hard.
Absolutely.
Hard.
Yeah, because I know it. Well, Daryl's another show we did at. They would have three
Yeah.
bands, and each three band invites all their friends. So even if nobody shows up,
That's how you get
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
people show up,
Right.
or 20 people show
Right.
up, just friends of band.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, some
But
of
we
them-
really need more than that to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a really good relationship with his landlord. So his landlord's been really accommodating
Oh.
during
Me?
he himself and him.
Yes,
The landlord's a real hard ass.
But other places, don't have that luxury.
You're in
Yeah.
default under the
Yeah.
terms
True.
of your
And
lease.
so-
That's true.
Yeah, see.
So it's
Well,
it's
I don't get
tough.
paid much, but
We will be happy to spread the word for you. So when you start
Absolutely.
having some music, we will
straight.
try to get some
So are you
people
going
in
to
here.
try to have more like weekly shows?
Every
or
Friday.
Every
Every Friday.
Every
Every
Friday.
Friday.
Get Satan's
Yeah.
pilgrims up
I
in
mean,
here.
every Friday.
let's keep our
Yeah.
fingers crossed that we don't have any more spikes. It is.
I like good times.
So do we. So do we,
Damn
John.
straight. And there's
Yeah.
oh my
Good
God.
times happen.
You
bring
give
them
me
back.
you give me a
Friday night.
minimum of 40 people, and that's good times.
That'll put a
because
smile on your face, huh?
because there's people that come in, the music is playing, and I have a little jive body to myself when I hear this music. I kind of dance by myself sometimes, not a lot of dancing, but just movement. I've been raised with African American ladies when I was a teenager, and they showed me some good jive steps, and I learned from them.
Keep you young.
Movement,
Yeah.
You don't have to really jump around. You can just
Just pay attention
slide your feet a little bit.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
in that
Oh, yeah.
jivey mood. And when I was 15, 16 years old, these gals, I'd go up to the Yesler Terrace, dancing on Friday or Saturday nights when they had kids only, of course, and we'd have a ball.
Yeah.
There was no problem. The only time we ever had a problem when we were kids, we'd go to the West Seattle, and dance at their places.
Yeah.
So we'd go and hop into this jalopy. It looked like a hearse, really. Yeah.
Times.
Yeah, remember the old shows, the gangsters that had a bunch of guys hanging around on it.
The
with
Tommy
machine
guns
guns.
and
The
stuff.
posse.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy Steve, he had one. He was just a little older than myself, but 9 of us would hop into that baby and we go out to West Seattle and dance. Well,
Where in West Seattle, if you
I
remember?
forgot where it was
somewhere,
at.
probably in in the Junction somewhere, right?
well, it was somewhere where we'd be able to park, and then there would be a lot of people dancing.
Yeah, sure.
All of us teenagers. Well, the guys in West Seattle weren't dancing with the gals, and we were dancing with the gals. Well, we'd have to almost fight ourselves out of the place, to get it
Taking
out with
their
West
the
Seattle,
girls.
West Seattle's always known to be a little rough and tumble.
Some- Sometimes
So you
there was a
rolled
little-
into West Seattle,
Yeah, there was a
stole
little
all the
push
girls,
pull.
and then left.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, nice.
Ballard was not too bad. Queen Anne was not too bad when we go up there and dance with the gals. But we don't like to get into fist fights or anything like that. When we were 16, 17
But if
years
nobody's dancing with the girls, you got to do what you got to do.
That's
old.
right.
Yeah. Oh, they loved it, and I learned that from the time that I was 10 years old. My sister was 14.
Players got to play. Yeah.
Yeah, my sister started teaching me because she was going to these dances in high school, and so she'd show me her steps and how a male should dance with a girl.
Right.
So I picked up from that, and I got to be a pretty good dancer, and
Sounds like you should be given dance lessons.
You
I
could.
did.
Friday nights, dance lessons?
No, I did.
Yeah?
I was.
How are you at line?
Line
Line
dancing.
dancing?
Yeah?
That's hokey.
No, does anybody do that anymore? I don't know.
The scoop
No,
boogie.
he's a swing.
The-
He's
the-
like
Swing.
Western
Okay, there you go.
Swing.
Swing. Oh,
Western-
nice.
Western swing, rockabilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tight left
The
hand.
slide has gotten popular
Yeah.
years ago. That was 25 years ago, I think.
Were you Lindy hopping?
Lindy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And jitterbug,
The jitterbug, yeah.
yeah. Well, that's where I learned the jitterbug with the jive with these gals in Yesler Terrace.
Okay.
Because they cooled me in about how to swing the gals, and I learned how to flip them.
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
Flip them.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, you actually flip the gal over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or underneath
Wow.
the legs, and
Wow.
as
You can
as
go
it go
down
under your leg, you turn over and you pick your hand up and pull them out.
Oh, it's amazing to watch
Wow.
Oh God, it was
with someone
fun.
who's really good at doing that.
And
Yeah.
if you've got some martial arts background, like you're talking about,
Yeah.
bam, this comes in handy.
Oh, I danced to all the big bands. Well, after the war, he wasn't around because he died in that crash. Miller.
Glenn Miller. Yeah.
But Tex Beneke took it over, and he toured the country, and I danced to his band here in Seattle, and a few other bands that came out many
Seattle
years
had a
ago.
pretty good music scene back then as far as like big band music and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
wow.
was a pretty thriving scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was many years ago. I don't know. Anybody know where the Palomar Theater used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, why do I know that? Where was that?
Third University.
Yeah. Downtown.
Okay. They had.
Where the Symphony Hall is now, basically.
What is it?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think so.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Well, that's like
Right.
second.
Yeah, they had movies, and then they had a stage show.
That's right.
So I can tell you about one of the stage shows. Sammy Davis Jr. and his father and,
Oh, nice.
and uncle.
Wow.
Of course, he was just a kid then. This was back in 1941
Whole
or
Sammy
42.
Davis Jr. family, huh?
So, he was, yeah, and he was dancing around singing a little bit with his uncle and dad. Well, I don't know if it was this particular time, but it would happen to have been December 7. And I had one of my buddies, I think, and we went to see a movie and a stage show. So we were in the balcony, as a matter of fact, because I got in free. My uncle was the doorman.
Score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was a break, and out comes this announcer that all servicemen return to their duty.
Oh boy.
Because there was
Oh, no. No
it
shit.
was December 7th, the Pearl Harbor attack.
Oh, man.
So I can't remember the rest of the day after that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know we
Obviously,
laughed.
a date you never forgot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, a date that you never
Oh,
forgot.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I'm only
Crazy.
10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So I can go back for a few years.
You have a pretty good memory.
What
It's
an
pretty
awesome story,
remarkable.
man.
It's- Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I have a fairly decent memory.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of on it. I try to be active, and by active meaning
He works out every day.
I'm.
Do you?
Yes.
Slinging beers
like
on
to-
Friday.
I like to dance. Unfortunately, my girlfriend right now is got a
Hip thing.
she's got a hip.
They can't keep up with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's hard.
she's.
It's hard. It's hard
But
life.
yeah, so they
It's tough.
go out dancing.
We
and
go
he works
dancing. As a
out
matter of
every
fact,
day.
I think we're going to go dancing over in Bellevue. Valentine's Day. They're going to have a trio over there with some friends of ours
Nice.
that we go dancing with, and it's a VFW club over in Bellevue, and we're going to go dancing there. I think it's a dinner dance. I'm not sure, but we were invited. Because I'm not a foreigner of war. I mean, I am. The Korean War, of course.
Yeah. That
counts.
It was called in late '59. It was called in, but then of course things have happened since then. So, and here I am. Talking
Still
to
going
you.
strong.
Damn straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're thankful
like
for
I
it,
said,
man.
I still like to
We'd be here without
dance.
you.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, totally.
And of course, I play tennis. I have a piano. I learned how to play the piano.
Good man.
Not like maybe some of you guys have had lessons.
I don't.
I started.
My daughter has lessons that I pay for. Does
Yeah.
that count? She can play piano.
Yeah, well, when you read music, it's fine. But I was 60 when I start learning, so I went and bought a piano first.
Yeah, my father-in-law got into piano when he was about that same age.
Really,
But
oh,
he-
good to him. Is he my age then?
He's 88 this year.
Oh,
he's just a
quite
kid.
quite a bit older.
He's just
Aw,
a kid.
young-
cute
yeah.
idiot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he
Still wet
had
behind the
already
ears.
sang in choir and played trombone. So
Oh, so he
he was a music guy
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, I don't read music. I have alphabets up on my book that's easy play.
Oh, nice.
And I know chords because I took lessons at the North Seattle Community College,
Nice.
and I took theory the shoreline. But some of it I can read a little bit, but not fast like your fingers need. Yeah. So.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about the shanty, or just people to know about you or your venture?
You know, just come out and have a good time, really, is what people should do.
Yeah, let's remind people to come out here every Friday night for some live
This
music.
Friday, Epic reopening.
Yes. Opening after 2 more months of
2 months of
COVID,
craziness.
and 20 months before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
bands with names like the Star Jays and the Right Girl and the Wes Wendell Band and Sightseer and Guardian Alien and Machine Animal
Machine Animal.
Yeah.
and Boss Rhino.
Playoff Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to come to a cool place
All right.
and hear some good music and a nice, intimate live venue, this is the place to come to. So we encourage our listeners to visit the shanty.
You'll get entertained.
Yeah.
You'll get an environment of people around you.
Yeah.
Just
And if
watching
you're lucky,
people.
you'll get John.
That's right.
Just watching people.
You can get John on the dance floor. for a
And
little
talking to people. And you can even talk to me.
Or he might
I don't
talk
mind.
to you.
As long as I got someone taking care of things, then I can talk to you.
Well, John, it was cool as hell to talk to you. I mean,
Yeah.
you're
Oh my gosh.
hopefully I am still going as strong as you are at your age, and you know you're a model to live by, and it was great talking to you. So thank you so much for hosting us.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Yes,
Thank you, Dana.
I hope
This is
other people
wonderful.
that are listening
you.
on your program that they would come out no matter where you're going. And,
Yeah.
and indulge in just being around people.
Yeah,
And not
yeah.
be concerned anymore.
Well, thank you, John.
So yeah, Jeremy. Normally we talk about what we're drinking, and you can talk all about what they're serving. But tonight, because as Brad pointed out, if they're not officially serving, they can't officially sell you beer.
Well, we're not officially drinking beer.
So
that's,
we're
that's
not.
the beauty of it.
That's right.
That's good.
And since it's a podcast, you can't see us doing nothing.
That's
so shut
right.
your damn mouth.
That's right. You can't prove anything.
But
Coppers.
come Fridays when they're open, they're going to have a small selection, though. When they
Well, yeah. You know, we talk
But,
every
but
episode.
let's just say, like, if he was to have gifted us some beers, what would we be drinking?
theoretically.
Wow, that is a good
speaking.
segue.
Yeah.
That's a good segue. You know, every episode we talk about what you're drinking because it's an interesting, important part of the culture of a dive bar, right? And this is no exception. So the Shanty's got a unique selection of beer, just like most of the places, but even
Does it
more
though?
so. Well, I'm getting into that. So
Oh, you can see the board.
So all the places we have visited so far have a common theme, which is a
Georgetown.
bunch of. Well, yes. I'm thinking more general. Think broader, like beer-esque type shit, right? So a few beers on tap, not what you would expect, and a few microbrews on tap, along with like kind of the standard fare, like a Rainier or maybe a Miller or a Coors Light or something like that. And we talk a little bit about the episodes, like, oh, wow, this bar has a really great selection of microbrews on tap or whatever, and this one has blah 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 and all this. The Shanty's unique. It's got that real old school roadhouse feel to it, and you walk in and you think, okay, this is a can and bottle bar, right?
Yeah.
Old school dive bar kind of place where you
There's
go and it's like,
sawdust
they
on
don't
the
even,
floor,
they don't even
there's
have fucking taps.
chicken
and it's like,
wire around the
too-
dance floor.
Yeah, that's too upscale. It's like, no, they're going to give you like bottles of Bud, cans of Bud, Coors
Yep.
Light or whatever. If
Yep.
you're lucky, they'll have like a third beer available or something snooty like a Lowenbrow, right? But they actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 taps.
Yeah.
So some great stuff. We're drinking. We're not drinking. We're drinking.
Not drinking Irish
Hypothetically.
Black Death.
That's right. Which is a great beer from a can, which is the first that I remember canned beer from the episodes that we've done. Even though there's some taps that we could avail ourselves to, but
Actually, no, he just had the lines cleaned.
oh, there we go. That's
And
why
they haven't retapped them
There we
because
go.
they haven't been open.
So
Okay.
they're strictly cans and bottles
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah,
Until they open
they'll
again.
tap it up tomorrow
having
night.
the lines cleaned very, very undive bar like, but okay, just speaks to the professionalism of the owner. I think for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, John's keeping it tight.
But so a unique selection. We're all drinking the same beer, no big deal, whatever. We're drinking it from a can, unique to what we've done with the podcast here. We're drinking it from chilled plastic glasses, again, unique. I don't think we've been a bar that's served from
chilled plastic
glass.
I think this is the first.
Just kind of cool.
I'm
very just dripping with the history, right?
Glass ones in there too, but they actually gave us the plastics when they took a look at us.
Took a look at they're like, these guys,
And Jeremy did mention there's also like a top on the cup that's tight, and there's a little thing you can sip the beer out of. So even if you did knock it off the table,
sippy cup. Yep, little sippy cup feel to it.
It's got a little handle on it.
Yeah, but it's just awesome because great beer, Irish Death, we all love it, right? But the experience is something else.
It's like you're at someone's house and they pull out like a can from their fridge and they pour you a cup and like, here you go. It has that feel to it. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. It almost to the point where you walk in here, you can imagine live music playing in the corner, a bunch of crowds, some people playing pool in the corner. You walk up to the bar, or almost be like weird to get a draft beer. Be like, you know what? Give me a bud and a bottle.
Yeah.
A little more of that style. I could see that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just the choice to make.
Damn straight.
Yeah. In fact, I think this has to do with what they're serving. Give us an idea of what's behind you. What's on the walls? What's on the floors? What do we got?
Well, like you were saying, Brad, the fact that we are the only places in the joint gives us kind of unique perspective of the place, right? But you can definitely just walking in here and just feel the crowd, right? You can feel the roadhouse kind of crowd.
Mention the 5 box fans leaned up against the wall by where the band would play.
That tells you something, right? Tells you something. A bunch of idle fans on the wall just waiting for a hot, sweaty crowd. A bunch of rowdy country western, band members in the corner here just cranking out some tunes. People boot scooting in the corner there. Some drunk mofos playing pool in the corner. It's like you can just hear it, feel it, smell it as you walk in the door.
I feel kind of ashamed that I've never seen a show here before because this looks like an amazing place to see a show. It kind of reminds me of Daryl's,
Very
like
much.
a small, intimate place where you pay a cover charge, probably like $10-$15.
You're dancing with the band.
You're dancing with the band. And those are the best shows, in my opinion. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and one of the first places we've been to, like, not a lot of places have a specific, live music stage,
right?
And I'm using the word stage here loosely because this is
a bunch of pictures before. We
for sure. We've got to post them on Instagram for sure. There's a stage area, but it's the same level as the rest of the joint, right? Which is pretty unique, right? So it's you are literally with the band.
Yeah, the band
playing.
is on the floor.
Very intimate.
Then it's the audience. There's no division really.
So I would love to see like a punk show here because it would get fucking live.
they don't do punk here. She told me.
I know. Yeah, I know. They don't. Different vibe for the place.
No
but,
circle jerks.
Yeah.
And when you look at it too, there's it's pretty simple. It's a linoleum floor. It's got a padded rug on top of it. But look at those 4 monitors. They've got like 4 big professional
big-ass
studio level.
Couple big ass.
No, I'm sure
just monitors
couple
for
towers.
Big PV stacks in the corner.
Couple
Big
towers
amps.
for the size of this room. This
Look
place,
at all these amps over here, Lou. Huh? Box of amps.
This place would rock hard.
Yeah.
At fall.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to make it a point to come see a live show here once
second
things open up
yeah.
again. So
I second that.
yeah, for sure.
And
Suck at going to live shows?
Huh?
What?
And Lou, for your segment, man, may I point out this is the first tavern we've been in.
It's the first
That's
bar
true. It actually
that
has
actually has a jukebox. It has the CD jukebox,
But it's true.
but it's a true physical,
Jukebox. Yeah. Analog.
yeah.
First joint with an actual like flippity flip mechanical jukebox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Analog,
Yep.
baby. Nothing
So that's a
digital
milestone.
there.
Yeah.
And it's
No
got
Wi-Fi
the,
there.
no Wi-Fi in here. Have your internet plan ready to go. It's also there's some masking tape on it where occasionally you have to change the price, so he just changes the masking tape. 3 plays is 75 cents, and 5 10 plays for $2.
And you know there's customers that walk through the door, make a corner around the jukebox, are like, 75 cents, god damn it, it used to be 50 cents, what the hell, motherfucker, I'm out of here.
Outrage. Well, I mean, that must have been here probably since, what, the 90s?
Oh, early 90s.
Early
yeah,
90s,
for sure.
so, you know, looking at 30 plus years.
Yeah, it's
antique, pretty cool.
Vintage now, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So you made a good comment, like, I was just kind of joking about seeing a punk show or something here. It would be fun, and I'd come in a heartbeat, but it's essentially country western exclusively, from what I've read and heard about this place, which is unique. This is the first place we've been to that's essentially been a country bar, country roadhouse type of bar.
Yeah.
And if you look at the history of that, and I don't need to tell you, but there's not a lot of that in Seattle. And there's especially not a lot of dive bar, roadhouse type places left that are honky-tonk-ish, right?
Right.
So we got something
But I don't
very
think
unique here.
it's
Very
the necessarily the twangy country that you hear on the radio. It's
Shit,
popular.
yeah,
I
maybe
think it's
some
more
rockabilly and
rockabilly,
some-
Americana,
Yeah,
that
for
kind
sure.
of stuff. You know.
Yeah. Maybe some little
Alt
bit of
country.
little surf
Alt
rock
country,
thrown in
yeah.
there for
all
fun.
the sons and
I think
daughters
so.
of Uncle Tupelo,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah. I think that's more what most of their shows are kind of geared towards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have on the wall there. They have a bunch of flyers from some of their past shows, so you can kind of get an idea of what their musical vibe is.
A couple of guitars on the wall.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a nice display over on the side by the bar. It's the Shanty, a roadhouse.
A roadhouse, lest you forget where the hell you are.
The last
Biatch.
roadhouse in Seattle.
Shanty, a roadhouse. It's got a historic old Route 66, so this is nowhere near Route 66. Right?
Technicality. Let it
our
slide.
Route 66.
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
our
where
Route
the-
66.
that's where the
Seattle's
music
Route
comes
66.
from.
Yeah.
I think is what they're saying.
No,
Well, a lot
okay.
of roadhouses existed on those kind of like.
Lou, the
highways
joke
like
is
that.
on you. The sign's upside down. It's 99.
Ooh,
nice.
Jeremy, well
Or
played.
maybe half of it's upside down and it's old Route 69. Because that's how we do it in Seattle.
Ba-dum-bum.
96.
Yeah. Well, it's great. On the wall, Shanty, a roadhouse. This place definitely has that roadhouse feel. And Brad, you talked a little bit about the history of roadhouses in this area and your upcoming book, which is going to be phenomenal. But this place is just dripping with that roadhouse. Like, even if you didn't know, Lou, you were asking like, "Oh, what's a roadhouse?" Right? Even if you had no fucking clue
You never
what a roadhouse
fucking
is.
told us what a roadhouse is.
Well, you walk in here and you're like, yeah, now I know. I know what a roadhouse is. It's this joint.
Oh.
Well, roadhouses, to answer your question, Lou, so roadhouses were basically.
No, you don't have to answer it anymore.
Jesus.
I think Jeremy just nailed it. You know it when you go in there.
You know it when you see it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. A famous Supreme
Yeah.
Court case.
No, this
The People v. Roadhouse.
This place embraces its roadhouse history, so it's very cool. And we're going to be having our book release party here, me and my co-author.
Oh,
wow.
And he's
Book plug number 3.
number 3, yeah. And he's plugged in. He's a musical historian, so he's plugged into a lot of local bands. So we're going to have some music here. We're thinking of having a hot rod show.
Oh, that'd be
Maybe
sick,
some
dude.
hot
Hell
rods.
yeah.
So we got some big plans. So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay
Yep.
tuned.
Nice. All right, Brad. I know you're dying and the listeners are dying to know.
What a roadhouse is?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, look at the time. Okay. You guys want to? Let's go to the bathroom. And do round 2.
Maybe next episode. Sorry.
No, please. Go on.
no. So roadhouses were basically during Prohibition. They were located outside of the city limits on Highway 99 and here on Lake City Way. So right on the other side of the city line there, and that was
Like
intentional.
on a country road.
On a country
It's
road.
not
These
in
were
the
very
city,
rural
it's-
roads, yeah, away from the prying eyes of the Seattle police.
Right.
And during Prohibition, they were basically like speakeasies, more or less. That's where people went to get their drink on and their dance on and have a night out. After Prohibition ended, from 33 through 1948, you couldn't sell in Washington State, you couldn't sell hard liquor in bars or restaurants or taverns. You could only sell beer, 3.2% or lower, ABV, or wine. That was it. So a lot of people were like, screw that. So what a lot of the roadhouses became is they became known as bottle clubs. So what they did, it was their way of getting around those laws.
Bottle,
you could bring in your own bottle, and they would offer
and
you a setup.
You Coke, and you buy the tonic. And
they'd give you a pitcher of ice, a couple glasses, whatever mixer you want, and then you would just mix your own drinks while you're there, while you're dancing.
It's like table service at Vegas, right? You know, like $300, and they just bring you some bottles, a bucket of ice, and like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how they were.
It's like, wait, I paid for this. What?
But a lot of them, there was a whole music scene with them. A lot of them had live music, big band music, jazz music, swing, cabaret, stuff like that. So there was a whole musical scene along Highway 99 along here, and that was part of the whole attraction too. So that's basically what roadhouses were in a nutshell.
Nice.
Just picture
where
Swayze.
we're at now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Swayze.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Guys that spend a lot of time on their hair that are good at kung fu and tight jeans.
Wait, did you say
like me, you mean?
Just like that.
Patrick Swayze?
Is he dead?
He died like a year or two ago.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Really?
more than that. Yeah, he died of cancer. He died like maybe 10 years ago.
Swayze?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think he died. I'm pretty sure he died of cancer.
Oh God, damn it!
Yeah, there was a couple, yeah.
It's been a while.
All right, after that, we're going to have the house band.
But Sam
bring us,
Elliott is still alive and kicking.
I need a moment.
Yeah.
Bring us house band. Come in and play us out. We're going to wrap it up.
And we're going to reminisce about our finest Patrick Swayze moments.